Right here at Salmon Creek Indoor Soccer, Parker Henry and his Skyview offensive linemen and buddies are preparing for the state semifinals. Parker, the reason you're here is because you put on another Player of the Week type performance, our Week 12 GSHL Football.com Player of the Week. First half wasn't looking so good. You guys were running your normal stuff. The first quarter, you guys kind of feeling each other out. Nobody did a lot. They started to get close, so towards the end of the quarter, punched it in right away. Got a field goal. You guys were turning the ball over. You're down 10-0. What are you guys thinking at that point?
We were just kind of thinking not to panic and that we've been there before. The River game, we were down 14-0, and we've trailed in other games this year, and we just kind of knew that we had to kind of focus in and get the nerves out and just do our job.
So then you also made some big plays on defense when they got down there. You cut them down, but what was it like, that their wide receivers going to University of Washington? How good was he running around? I know you were playing linebacker, but he looked like he was a pretty legit guy out there.
Record, watching him on film, he's a really good player, and really fast, and our QBs and corners did a really good job with him.
So then you got the drive, you score. Yeah. They turn around and punt right away. At that point, what do you think? You got a minute and a half. That kind of played right into your hands. What are you guys thinking at that moment?
We definitely thought that we had a chance to score at that point. A minute and a half for our offense. We've gone in before with less time, so we were hoping to score.
So then we all know the story. Come out second, or Riley just barely gets out at the 2, but then you answer right away. You go up 14-10, but then they go right down and score. Kieran then throws the interception. You guys stop them, though, on 4th down. Then you get the ball back. You got a 3rd and short, and Coach says, we're going jumbo.
Yeah.
Okay? And you never went out of jumbo the rest of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, the big guys here, you got to be loving it. It's like, hey, we're finally getting to play some football, right? And so you had about 40 yards in the first half, 180 plus in the second half, almost all in a quarter and a half.
Yeah.
4 touchdowns. You went from being down 17-10 to winning 42-17. Kids were quitting from the other team. They didn't want to come back and play.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, what was that like as an O-line to just be dominating? Was that awesome or what?
It was fun.
Yeah.
Has
Any of you guys ever had more fun in a game?
Never.
Never?
Probably Lincoln game.
Lincoln game?
Yeah, driving kids like 20 yards over the ball.
All right. Well, Lincoln game over a playoff game, the #1 team in the state. All right. So what did coaches tell you? I mean, did they say anything, or did they just know Parker doesn't care what we're running?
No, they didn't say anything about coming out in our power set in the second half or at halftime or anything, but I think we just got in it and we saw that it was working, and these guys were just driving them off the ball. And I guess they just said, why not just stay in it until they can stop it?
Which they couldn't.
Yeah.
So at what point did you realize? So Mike Houston was running the Twitter stuff, and I think it was when you got up 35-17. He just said Parker Henry just punched their ticket to the Columbia. At what point did you guys know we got this game? Okay, coaches are listening into the clock. Coaches aren't listening. What point did you know you had the game?
Honestly, not until the final whistle, blew. That's like really cliche to say that, but they're the #1 team in the state. They were ranked coming in, and they're a great team. And I guess when there's a minute left and you're up 3 touchdowns, then it's over. But we weren't comfortable with the lead at all, really.
Yeah. So speaking of that, they were #1. You guys weren't. You started the season, I believe, 4th, but you had the losses to Coeur d'Alene, who just won a state championship, and Sherwood, who's still in the semifinals. Was it hard at all throughout the season, knowing that we're good, but you weren't getting any of the recognition from the ranking side of it because of those 2 early losses? Or were you able to just say, hey, we know it's about the playoffs, let's worry about winning league? I mean, that's still kind of hard to know, I know we're better than that team.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like sometimes the rankings are frustrating, but you can't really pay attention to them because, those
Except my power ranking.
Yeah, exactly. Of course.
You were at top of that the whole time.
Of course. But, those guys, from Seattle, they're not at our practices, and they haven't been to our games. They're not there every day and know what these guys can do, what the people on our team can do. We just got to be concerned with ourselves.
So you guys doing 10-2 now, got the 10 wins, which is great. Going, 09 team made it to this far, but they didn't get to the Dome. You guys are at the Dome, but like I've telling some of you guys, this Dome at one point, not swear, you've got 2 trips.
Yeah.
But you got a really tough Lake Stevens team ahead of you, and so you're not looking past that at all. we're all excited for what you guys are doing. So thank you guys for giving Parker such big lanes so he can actually be good this year. And Parker, we've been great so far. We're looking for keep coming up. Parker Henry, our Week 12 GSHLFootball.com new athlete player of the week.